Hello, beautiful people. Happy New Year. Peace and blessings to everyone. Today, I will be making a video about the role of women in the Bible. Being a wife and mother in biblical times was huge. It was like your whole identity was wrapped up in your family. But you had amazing women who were prophets like Deborah in Judges chapter 4 to 5, who was straight up leading the Israelites in battle. And you can't forget the challenges they faced, like being excluded from education and leadership. And Jesus totally changed the game by treating women with respect and dignity. Like he talked to women in public, he healed them, and he let them be his close followers. It was a pretty radical move back then. Eve. Wisdom, discernment, creativity. Eve had the potential to shape humanity with her wisdom and discernment. In Genesis chapter 3 verse 6 it says, "When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and it was delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable to one wise, she took some of the fruit and ate, and gave some to her husband with her, and he ate." Her creativity could be used in worship arts or crafting resources for children's ministry. Sarah. Faith, perseverance, hospitality. Sarah's faith and perseverance in believing in God's promise of a son is a great example of leadership. In Hebrews chapter 11 verses 11 it says, "By faith even Sarah herself received the ability to conceive even beyond the proper time of life, since she considered him faithful who had promised." Her gift of hospitality could be used in outreach or women's ministry events. Ruth. Loyalty, compassion, work ethic. Ruth's loyalty and compassion towards Naomi is a beautiful example of empathy. In Ruth chapter 1 verses 16 to 17 it says, "But Ruth said, 'Do not plead with me to leave you or turn back from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you sleep, I will sleep. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord do so to me worse, if anything, but death separates me from you.'" Her work ethic could be in practical service roles in any ministry. Esther. Courage, leadership, diplomacy. Esther's courage and leadership in saving her people is super inspiring. In Esther chapter 4 verses 16 it says, "Go and gather all the Jews who found in Susa, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants also will fast in the same way. And then I will go to the king, which is not in my accordance in the law. If I perish, I perish." Her gift of diplomacy could be used in outreach or conflict resolution within the church. Mary. Humility, faith, nurturing. Mary's humility and faith in accepting God's call to be the mother of Jesus is amazing. In Luke chapter 1 verses 38 it says, "And Mary said, 'Behold the Lord's bond servant. May it be done according to your word.' And the angels departed from her." Her nurturing nature could be used in children's ministry or women's ministry. It's also important to emphasize that women aren't just meant to serve in traditional roles, but they could be leaders, teachers, and pastors. And also, I feel like women can definitely go past the traditional roles like cooking and cleaning and being there for the children. Like, they can be construction workers, they can be lawyers, they can be doctors, they can be whatever they want to be, you know. The Bible shows example of leadership like Deborah, who was a prophet in Judges chapter 4 verses 4. Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidith, was judging Israel at the time. Also in Galatians chapter 3 verses 28 it says, "For we maintain that person is justified by faith apart from works of the law." This verse is often interpreted as affirming the equality of women and men in the church. So based on these verses, it seems pretty clear that women has a vital role when it comes to the church. They can use their gifts and talents to serve God and other in various ways, whether it's through teaching, leading, serving, and practical roles. When women are empowered to use their gifts, the whole church benefits from it. It's important to acknowledge that there are different interpretations of biblical texts regarding women. Some people believe that the Bible teaches that women should be subordinate to men in all areas of life, while others believe that the Bible promotes equality and empowerment for women. In ancient Israel and the surrounding cultures, women often had limited rights and opportunities. They were typically excluded from education, leadership positions, and public life. Their primary roles were often seen as wives and mothers. When we read the biblical text about women, it's important to keep this historical and cultural context in mind. We need to recognize that the Bible was written in a time where gender roles were totally different from how they are today. But we also need to recognize that Jesus often challenged the cultural norms of his time by treating women with respect and dignity, and by including them in his ministry. It is also important to recognize that there are many different ways to interpret the Bible, and that Christians can disagree on these issues without compromising their faith. You can share your own perspective on these issues, but also acknowledge that others may have different views. Another important aspect is to look at the teachings of Jesus and Paul regarding women. Jesus treated women with respect and dignity, and he often challenged the cultural norms that marginalized them. Paul in his letters affirmed the equality of men and women in Christ, but he also gave instruction regarding through roles in the church that been interpreted in different ways. It's also helpful to consider the symbolic significance of women in the Bible. For example, the church is often described as the bride of Christ, which highlights the importance of women in God's plan of salvation. Ultimately, studying the role of women in the Bible requires careful attention to the text, historical context, and different interpretations that can lead to deeper understanding of God's plan for humanity. The goal is to encourage thoughtful and respectful dialogue about the role of women in the Bible in the church today. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a blessed and not stressed day. All right.